Hey, happy Monday, y'all. Happy Monday, and welcome to another episode of Amplify Your Brilliance Mondays, where I come to you with you, pour into you one day a week, and really give you the tools to grow your faith alongside your purpose, to generate multiple revenue streams from it, right? And ultimately to be the highest and best version who God created you to be. And of course, if you do that, God wants you to get paid for it. So, with that said, as you're coming in, as I ask you to do every week, tell me name and where you're joining from, right? Second thing is if I give you any value, if you learn anything, please share. Hey, Renata, so Brooklyn in the house. And listen, I saw this on a sermon the other day and I was like, oh my God, this is so true, right? Now that we're all watching church from home, a pastor, I was watching a sermon and the pastor said, listen, it's rude when you come in somebody's house and you don't speak. So at least tell me hi. Right? If I say anything that steps on your toes, I want you to put like a fire emoji. If I say anything that resonates with you, give me some hearts, give me a heart emoji. Let me know you're here and you're present. If you have questions as I share because I'm happy to answer your questions, right? So I'm continuing with the series we started at the top of April. So at the top of April, I started something called Don't Stay Stuck. Now, this is the third series in the series I'm doing all year long. So our goal for the whole year is my girl Esther, hey, Arkina in Maryland. So Esther is my girl. I love me some Esther, favorite character in the Bible. And she really is the muse to our journey. So by the way, if you've missed any episodes, there on the screen, you see the website to my YouTube channel, nrjnetwork.com. And you can go back and watch all the episodes. I started at the top of January with this whole notion that God put in my spirit. And so all year long, I'm pouring more into it. And I think it's perfect because this is the third theme already, right? Can you believe we're in the second quarter already of this year? It's gone by fast, right? So I want to give you more tools. And some of you guys are saying to yourself, well, why do you keep staying on this don't stay stuck stuff? Hey, Yolanda, I want you to understand that there are so many things that could keep you from all that God has for you. And many times we don't even realize it's present. Hey, Kenyetta, 9 times out of 10, we don't even realize it's keeping us stuck. And so as you come every Monday, this is your opportunity to do a gut check to see where you is, where you be, right? To really shift and check in on your being. Now, all my ladies, I think that are here with me know this because a lot of you guys are OGs, original girls that are always here. I am one believer in being is the most important thing you can do to get to the life that you really greatly want. So we call ourselves human beings, but we're not. We're human doings because we focus on what do I need to do to have, what I need to do to get, what I need to do so I can be at this place. And guess what? At the beginning of the Bible, God, who didn't have to say anything, he could have just made things exist. And yet, the first scriptures in Genesis says, let there be light. See, God commanded things to be. And so on these times I'm here with you Monday, it's an opportunity for you to be. So that you can allow your being to get caught up with the doing that you need both to get to the thing you greatly want, right? Hey, Cynthia. So with that said, today our conversation is rehearse it or release it. Now, if you've been in my tribe, you've heard me share this many times, and I got to share it here. As I was thinking about, every week, I was going to say every year, every week I pray. What should I talk about this week? Really, God outlined this whole series, the Don't Stay Stuck. So I'll be in here until the end of May. And so as I pray every week, okay, now that you gave me the topic, what do you want me to talk about, Lord? What came back in my memory is the one thing, and you guys, if you've been with me for a while, you've heard me talk about this, that every man I dated prior to my husband, I kept feeling like I was in the same script. It's like I'd get out of one script and it'd be me again with another actor, but he'd be doing the same lines and the same thing. And I'm like, Lord, how can I get out of the script? See, what I realized is I was rehearsing what I should have been releasing. Come on, somebody. That's good, right? And so tonight, now we're continuing with the conversation we had last week, which was who has your remote? Now I'm giving you tools so you can release what's no longer serving you. Because if not, you're staying in it, you're rehearsing. It's like pushing that play button. How many of you guys used to have a tape recorder back in the day? And even if you listen to Spotify, you play something, you push pause, you push play. Well, if you put it on repeat, it's going to keep playing over and over again, right? If you put And so that's what many of you are doing in your lives. You wonder why things are shifting. You wonder why things are continue. You wonder why your business isn't working. You wonder why your career is not working. You wonder why your marriage isn't working. Come on, somebody. It's because you keep rehearsing what you need to release. So again, if you didn't get the work from last week, I'm going to encourage you to do that, right? So let me tell you, every week I put your journal work in our Facebook group, and I'm putting it in here early because the work you do, this is your being work every week. Again, many of you guys may be working on a business. So that's a lot of doing. If you don't sit in quiet contemplation and let God speak to your soul and shift some things in you, listen, your business will never outgrow you. So there's some things you got to get rid of, some things you got to move out of the way. There's some things you got to grow. And so the brilliancetribe.com, my Facebook group, is where I put the journal work every week. If you go in the group and look in files, you'll see last week was week 15 is who has your remote. So you got to identify who has your remote. Now, once you identify who has it and identify why they have it, who have you been giving control over your life to, of how you think and how you be? When you're angry or upset, and if you find yourself in that place often because someone has triggered that, they have your remote. So this is my invitation for you to snatch it back, right? And so, with that said, y'all, this is the continuation of that. Your business will never outgrow you. Yes, says Renata, right? Let me put these comments up here because I see them and sometimes you guys don't see them, right? And Cynthia says she's meditates daily. I love it. But you need meditation and you need activation. You need meditation, activation, and implementation. You need all three, right? I remember one time, this is true talk. I was on a live like this and pouring in, and I was inviting women, and many of you guys have come to my live event. And this woman kept saying, I need to pray about it. And it bothered me that she said she needs to pray about it. Now, y'all know I'm a God's girl. So I was thinking, why would somebody want to pray about it bother me? So I prayed about the fact that it bothered me. And I prayed, God, why does that bother me? And God said this, because she's waiting on me and I am waiting on her. And sometimes you'll be in meditation and God will be silent because he's sick of telling you what you need to be doing. And sometimes it's that negative emotion. If you don't get under it and you realize that fear is present, and why is fear coming up for you? Because maybe you've never played this way before. Maybe something that happened in your past is controlling how you think about your present. So you've got to activate the being and really dig underneath what's coming up for you. Okay. The other things you've got to do, I'm going to give you 3 steps. Y'all ready? First step is you've got to forgive. If there's something that someone has done to you or said to you that has you in that place, that in that negative space, you've got to first forgive. So listen, I'm gonna read something. Sorry, my allergies are acting crazy. So my nose is itching so bad right now. Right. So scratch you one time real good. Okay. So with that said, this is an excerpt from Forgive for Good, a proven prescription for health and happiness by Fred Luskin. Okay. So I'm going to read this because this is a great definition of what forgiveness is. Okay. Forgiveness is for you, not for the offender. Forgiveness is taking back your power. Forgiveness is taking responsibility for how you feel. Forgiveness is about your healing and not about the people who hurt you. Forgiveness helps you get control over your feelings. Forgiveness can improve your mental and physical health. Forgiveness is a choice. So, what forgiveness is not? Forgiveness is not condemning unkindness. Forgiveness is not forgetting that something painful happened. Forgiveness is not excusing poor behavior. Forgiveness is not denying or minimizing your hurt. Forgiveness doesn't mean reconciling with the offender. So for me, when I think about the play that I kept being in that I had not successfully gotten over, right? It wasn't until I started looking at what part did I play in that. It wasn't until I got hired a counselor. Let me keep it all the way real. Well, I had already been in counseling, but I really said, let me focus in on this with my counselor and look at what this is. And I realized there were so many unresolved feelings that I had from me not feeling good enough. Which what would happen in my relationship is I was trying to prove myself. Had nothing to do with them, had everything to do with me. So I had to reconcile that. I had to forgive myself, not even them. Because being in those relationships was a choice I made. They didn't force me to be there. So I can't be mad at them for being who they are. As Maya Angelou says, Quote, one of my favorite quotes: when people show you who they are, believe them the first time. Ooh, baby, had I done that in those relationships, I wouldn't have been there that long. But anyway, you guys getting that? This happens in business. When you make bad business decisions, sometimes it's not the person's fault. Like I sometimes, when people hire me to coach them, they start telling me about a coach and all the bad things. I'm like, stop. Did you learn something from that coach? And they usually say, yes. Okay. So you needed that coach to be able to be coached by me. Don't minimize that. But sometimes when you hire coaches, it's not working. It's not the coach. It's because you didn't know what you wanted. Hello, somebody. So it allows you to stop and get clear. You don't do that if you just keep pushing and keep moving. You got to stop. So for me, I feel like there was always a man waiting in the wings. I break up one and there was always another one waiting. That's how my life has always been, right? I always had a man waiting in the wings. That's what I used to call it. Because, again, I was in play of my life, right? Even my husband. Day later, after a breakup, started dating my husband. Now, listen, I was clear. He was going to be my friend. I was done. I'm not going to be in a relationship. Daryl and I will be friends. But what I did different this time was I sat with myself and I dug underneath to forgive myself for the poor decisions I made, to forgive myself for not loving myself enough to 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 accept less than what I deserve. hmm Renata said, "Yes, I keep setting and going around the same mountain, and it's all me. Yes, forgiving is big, and that we have a hard time coming face to face and dealing with it." Yep. The children of Israel went around this mountain 40 years. 40-year journey, it should have been an 11-day trip. You know why it took them 40 years? Because they were afraid. They never stopped to deal with their fear. Never stopped. They just kept moving. So the second thing you got to do, because I can talk about that for the next 20 minutes, but my goal is always to be here 30 minutes or less. Second thing you got to go. So first you got to forgive. The second thing is you got to, and you've heard this saying before, let go and let God. Now, what exactly does that mean? It's an act of surrender. Now, I know the S word is a word that everybody's like, right? But surrender is really giving up control. So what you're saying is, I'm not in control. You are, Lord. Oftentimes when we're going through things, I'll say, my husband hates this, whatever's meant to be shall be. That means I'm letting it go. And it always works out so much better. And here's the other thing, I'm not stressed in the middle of it. When I trust that God has my best interest at heart, when I realize that whatever He wants to have happen is going to happen. If I'm meant to be with that man, oh, he'll be back. If I'm meant to have that job, contract. So anytime you're in a place where you're trying to control things, you're not trusting God, the ultimate controller, because He already knows the end from the beginning, right? And again, I'm not telling you to forget or ignore how people have treated you. Listen, if they come at you like that again, they already showed you who they were. Don't be stupid, right? But you don't have to be bitter or angry or mean or nasty. You don't have to be any of that. A great example of that was, I remember, which is going to move into our number three. Is it for you? It will be. Yep. I remember my one job I had. So I lived in Wisconsin before I lived. So I'm from California. I moved to Wisconsin. That's called love, y'all. And then I moved to Boston, right? Moving all over to these cold places. But anyway, that's a whole nother conversation. So living in Wisconsin, when I got to Wisconsin, I decided I needed to get a job so I could meet people. And God dropped in my spirit only work part-time because I was already doing this. And how could I do a full-time job? But I knew if I worked from home, I wouldn't meet anybody in Wisconsin. So I've been trying to find a part-time job, part-time job, part-time job, couldn't find anything. And literally, I found this full-time job as a director of development at a school, elementary school. And I thought, oh, this would be great. Give back. It's in the hood. It's a 90% African American school. I can give back to the community. And raising money is easy for me. So, to make a really long story short, I was so excited when I got this job. Got the job, and literally, the executive director was an African American woman, so I was excited I'm gonna get to work with another sister. So excited, y'all. So I get in there, and the first week I got a grant because I'm a networker. And those of you that don't know this, I'm a connector. So I got invited to an event with my husband. My husband's an executive, works at a large corporation, which is what moved him to Pewaukee and me with him. And went to an event. The president of the foundation this school had been trying to get was sitting next to me. Tell you how God works. Talked to her that night. I said, I'll have a grant to you the next day. Sent the grant. Within a week, my first week, I got a grant funder. So I'm sharing this whole story with you because what I soon found out is this executive director was hating on me. She was telling people I can't write grants, that she got that grant. I can go on and on and on and how nasty. And how I found out as a board member, another black woman said, I have never seen anybody, the governor, executive assistant, right hand deputy chief of staff. You've been here for how long? You ain't even been here a month. You got a grant funded. This board member was blown away at because she saw me at everything. And it was all God. That's a whole other story. I got an article in the paper. All this happened within a month. And she said the executive director is hating on you, which I thought was so crazy. I'm like blowing up this your school and you're hating on me. And she made it very difficult. And I kept praying. And God's like, I told you not to take a full-time job. So that was already my first lesson. I wasn't disobedient. So he did make it easy. But I went in and by the way, she put my office down in the basement, no windows. Everybody else was upstairs, windows, beautiful offices. I'm in the basement. Only thing that came down in the basement where the kids used to eat were downstairs. They come downstairs to eat. That was where their cafeteria was. So it'd be loud, and I had no windows. It was the worst experience of my life. But here's the thing I want you to get. I never once went into a board member meeting and acted how, back on her. I kept thinking she's not gonna steal my ticket to heaven. Let me just rise above it, as Michelle Obama would say, when they go low, we go high. I kept my head up, I kept professional, all of that. Soon, literally soon, I think I worked there for 3 months, and then my husband got offered to move here. So I gave her a month's notice because that's just how I am, right? And she said, "Well, won't this be your last week?" I said, "Won't this be my last moment?" That's the only time I was like, "Oh, you ain't getting ready to do me like this." I went to my desk. I deleted all my files. I know, right? Got my purse and left because you're not going to take all the grants I've been working on after you treated me like this. So I'm sharing this whole story with you because I left. I came here. The board member and I were connected to LinkedIn. That board member told me she got fired within 2 weeks of me leaving. See, had I tried to be nasty and pay her back, it would have made me look bad. Had I tried to be nasty and sit in those board meetings and say, "Well, I heard you said," it would have made me look bad. I never once had to do that. See, when you let go and let God and you continue to be who God has called you to be, God will take care of the rest. Baby, I've seen God do things with ex-boyfriends that I could never ever get back. Ooh, y'all don't have enough time on this live for me to tell you all the ways, all the things I've seen God do when I let go. So one is forgive. You got to forgive yourself, forgive that person because 9 times out of 10, they're not trying to hurt you. Maybe somebody's hurt them and now they're that hurt that's inside of them is now hurting you. And this happens in business too, y'all. This happens with clients, this happens with coaches, this happens with colleagues, this happens with accountability partners. And once you ruin your reputation, it's hard to get it back. I need you to get this. Mhm. Renata said you can't do God's people dirty and think you're going to get away. Right. But at the same time, you can't control how God pays them back. There's a Bible verse. I have it written down. Here it is. Beloved, do not avenge yourselves, but rather give place to wrath. For it is written, vengeance is mine. I will repay, says the Lord. See, God will always, he'll do it way better than you ever could. And I wasn't even looking for her to get paid back because I was happy. I did what I said I was going to do. The board, I don't know whether they believed her or not. It didn't even matter. I knew that one board member was representing me well because she would call and tell me everything, and I never solicited it. So I had to forgive her every day when I went to work. Girl, y'all don't even know. I used to play The Battle Is Not Mine by Yolanda Adams every day going to work. So when I had to forgive, then I had to let go of what I could see, let go of what I wanted to do to her, and let God deal with her. And then ultimately, I had to release. I had to release it all. I had to release the outcome. I had to release how it was going to happen. I just kept staying true to who I knew myself to be. And the woman that God knew the woman I knew God wanted me to be is the way I should say that. It's like this. When I think about it, it's one of my favorite things to do when I was little was to play in the monkey bars. You guys remember the monkey bars? And you'd have to let go of the previous monkey bar in order to get to the next monkey bar. You couldn't do the next monkey bar without releasing it. You guys remember that? Did you ever play in the monkey bars? Remember they'd be long. I used to be good at it and go fast too. But you had to release one to get to the next one. You couldn't hold on to that one while you were trying to get to the next one. You can't take it with you. And many of you are trying to control. Matter of fact, sometimes you're trying to control if the outcome, like when you hire someone, As a coach, listen, I remember when I hired my first coach and she cost 30,000. I couldn't see how I was going to pay her every month. Let me keep it all the way real. All I knew was I had the money for the deposit. I couldn't see how she was going to help me generate revenue. I couldn't see it. All I could do was trust because I knew that God put her in my path. Not only did I have the money to pay every month and paid it off, but I generated 200,000 within 6 months. And I've seen things like that happen in my business over and over and over and over again because I've surrendered to what I could see. And that's what faith is. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So, my question to you is one, what do you need to let go of? What do you need to release so that you can go after your abundantly above all? I think I may have said this last week. Listen, the singer Leah died in her plane crash because her baggage was too heavy. Have you ever thought about why they weigh our bags? Because if your bags are too heavy, the plane will crash. Well, for some of you, the reason why your business is crashing, or your relationships are crashing, or your health is crashing, is because you're not taking the time to let go of all that extra baggage you've been carrying around and carrying around and carrying around. You try to act like it's not there. Oh, it's there, right? Without fear or hesitation. I missed the first part, Cynthia. Tell me, girl, tell me, right? Yes. So, with that said, as I do every week, I want to remind you that I put a this is your journal exercise for this week. Now, last week it was 3 pages. This week it is two. You want usually it's 1 page. You know why it's so long? Because I'm telling you, this work is a game changer. Without you taking the time to release whatever has been holding you back, you will stay right where you are. Listen, when I hired my first coach, I'm from South Central LA. I've never spent 30,000 on anything. Maybe my car, but I have a car note. That's probably the highest thing I'd ever spent on at that time. Well, that's not true. I have a house, but it's different. And I pay for college tuition. Now, guys, remind me all the stuff I pay for. But I had never invested in myself in this way. It was difficult. I had to release all the behavior or mindset of my neighborhood that was telling me you don't waste money. Instead of looking at that this is good debt that I was putting myself in, not bad debt. It's not a pair of shoes or a purse. And some of y'all got purses and shoes galore, but you haven't invested in your next level. And your purse and your shoes are not going to take you there. A Mercedes in your driveway is not going to take you there. So what do you need to release so that you can go after that? Is it fear? Is it not that imposter syndrome that comes up? Is it not feeling good enough? Is it perception? Is it something somebody said to you, whether it's a boss or a boyfriend, whatever? What is that? I want you to really, really do the work, y'all, because I want abundantly above all 2021 for you. That's what I'm claiming for all of us. I'm claiming for more than you could ever ask or think. And God wants to do it for you. But if you're going to limit God, oh, He's going to not. Listen, God's going to let you live on whatever level you decide you want to live on. He's going to let you stay right there on whatever level you decide you want to live on. So, my question to you is, what are you willing to do to have all that's possible for you? God has things for you that you can't even imagine, but you've got to do the work to get there. And it starts with you doing the work that I give you. And I give you this every week because you can take a week to do it. I want you to take time to notice when things are coming up for you. I want you to take time to notice when things are in your way. I want you to take time to notice when things are getting under your skin or bothering you. I bet you it's bumping up against something you need to release. Not I bet you, I guarantee you. So do the work. Do the work and see how things shift for you. Even if I use my weight loss for an example. So, hallelujah, I'm finally at my pre COVID weight. Matter of fact, I've lost more than my pre COVID weight, but I had to release how I had been eating. I had to release, now listen, the one thing I was clear I wasn't releasing was wine. Let me keep it all the way real. So, I found a trainer that would help me eat in a way that I didn't have to totally let go of wine, but I still have to make different decisions every day. If I'm gonna have a glass of wine, I didn't have one today. Usually have them on the weekends. But if I'm going to be and do and live in this level that I know God wants me to dwell in, it's not about me being skinny. It's about me being healthy. It's about me being able to have the stamina and the endurance to run the race that God has set before me. So my health is important. I can't be sick trying to do these on every Monday night. I can't be sick getting on airplanes. I can't be sick trying to pour into you. I can't pour from an empty cup. And many of you guys are pouring from an empty cup. Mhm. I appreciate you, Arkita. She said, this is right on time for me. I appreciate you. Listen, again, I pray every week. What is it that you want me to talk about? This is what God put in my spirit for this week, right? Now I'm missing Bible verses because listen, you guys see I have a whole page of notes. I what's up? I don't know how people can read notes and talk at the same time because I can't read and talk, right? So I think I missed at least one quote. Let me see. Oh, this is a good quote I want to share. Getting over a painful experience is much like crossing monkey bars. You have to let go at some point in order to move forward. So that's on your. I have this on your sheet. So that's it for this week. Continue our conversation. Do the work, ladies. I guarantee you, the more you invest in you, God always doubles your investment. When He sees you doing the work to up level your serve, 'cause that's what happens when you up level you. You're up leveling your ability to serve the people that need you in this world. So when you do this work to grow you, oh, God is always going to reward you for it. Always. All right. So do the work. If you have questions, yes, not lose but release. Yes, girl, I need to release the weight. That's right. I don't want to find it again. Yes, I released the weight because I do not want to find it again, right? Hey, Kaimika, Chicago in the house. I love it. So, two things. If there's any value in what I shared, tell me the value you got out of today. The second thing, oh, I'll tell you number three in 1 second, Yolanda. The second thing is share below. Listen, two reasons why I want you to share. Number one, just like some of you got something you didn't know you needed, there's a woman out there that's praying for this content, that she's connected to you. When you share it, she gets it. And number two, this keeps it in the feed for other women that are looking for this, right? So number one, there's three steps: forgive, release, and let go. Right. So the order I did it in was forgive, let go, and let God, and then release it. Okay. So letting go is really releasing it. But here's what happens. When you keep thinking about it, that means you didn't release it. So when that happens, as long as I'm in this flesh, I'm gonna be thinking about what people did. And so I give it to God every time it comes to my mind. Every time I think, oh no, she didn't. Okay, Lord, I'm giving that to you. Because let me tell you, I can be in oh no, she didn't a lot. As we all could be, right? So I want to encourage you to do the work, to take the time to find a great accountability partner that you can call when you're thinking, oh, no, she didn't, girl. I'm like, girl, I need to release this. I need you to help me let this go. Let's pray about it and release it. So my prayer partner is always my release partner so that I can let that go. Because then the other thing is that it weighs you down. So, like, for instance, if you're working on programming or content to bless other people that you're called to serve, when you have something you need to release, it clogs up your creativity, it clogs up your ability to create because your mind is on that, right? Yolanda says it's a daily decision, if not even more often, yes. And sometimes, listen, when you're on the edge of your next level, y'all, the enemy will come in ways you ain't ready for. Let me be honest with you. I've seen them come in people that I thought were my closest allies, and I never get mad at them. That's how I learned to let go because they don't realize what they're doing. And I love them just the same. Some of my team can't believe that I hug some people because they didn't do what they did on purpose. Even if Judas can hug, excuse me, if Jesus can hug Judas, then trust I can hug anybody, right? And again, 9 times out of 10, when someone's hurt you, it's because someone has hurt them and they're just paying it forward. So, what I'm encouraging you to do is let the buck stop here, to take back your remote, to release it and stop rehearsing it so that you can go after a whole new level for yourself. All right. So, with that said, that's it for this week. I know that's why Kenyatta said I'm in the midst of forgiving self and releasing. I am so proud of you, Kenyatta. I am so proud of you. I'm so excited about all you're up to. So, with that said, y'all, that's it for this episode. It's always my honor and privilege to pour into you every Monday, 7 p.m. EST. Again, please share. Please share. Help this stay in the feed. Help a woman that needs this word, just like many of you needed this word to get the word she needs. All right. So I'll see you next Monday, 7 p.m. EST, to continue our Don't Stay Stuck series. And now we're going to start moving into the faith part even more so. All right. So I'll see y'all next Monday. Have a phenomenal rest of your week.